Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us again on this midweek edition of the Idle Park Talk Show. Today, we are here to talk about the recognition of the Palestinian state by some European countries and Canada. They had made this statement months ago, and it has officially come to pass as promised during the UN General Assembly, which is currently happening in New York, United States. So, we are here to talk about what that means, the implications of the recognition, and whether it is going to have real results on the resolution of this conflict. Again, as always, the caveat is the fact that we are just two people who are interested in global politics. We never claim to be expert on these things. We're just here to share our opinions, and hopefully, some people might enjoy this content. And speaking of those who might enjoy this content, if you feel called to join in live, you're more than welcome to do so. Otherwise, you can join in the comment section, and myself or Asa will be more than happy to respond to your questions. Today's going to be a really short one because we started late and we have a busy schedule. Um, we are working tomorrow, so we're going to try to be um, very concise and straight to the point and then not drag it on. Okay, without much ado, I hope I didn't miss anything. Again, welcome. The late and we have okay. So one of the few issues that we we fall on different sides. Not many, but one of those few issues that we disagree a lot. Um, yeah, but this has been happening. The promise was made several months ago or several weeks ago by the Prime Minister of Canada and also the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and the President of France. Australia too is also in that bandwagon.
Mhm.
They agreed to recognize the Palestinian state. And if I am current with my understanding of this matter, I think their common objective is that there's going to be a state because of the ongoing assault by Israel the Gazans, on the Gazans, on Palestinians in general. And also, Hamas can in no way, shape, or form have a future in the governance of this Palestinian state. Am I wrong? Am I missing anything?
No, I mean those are some of the terms and the conditions for the support for Palestinian state. But before we even get there, let's first of all consider that when they were setting up the is the state of Israel, the whole intention was to have two states.
Right.
But for political reasons and because, of course, colonial masters in those days and Britain, they, for some reason, set up a state of Israel and denied or ignored to actually set up a Palestinian state at the same
Mhm.
time. Again, that was the agreement. That was the plan. We would have two states, Israel and Palestine. That was what was
Mhm.
supposed to happen. There was somewhat a delay in setting up a Palestinian state, and that lapse has gone on for these many years. I think that
Mhm.
is something that we should note first of all. Secondly,
Mhm.
we have about 194, 95 states, 94 states in the United Nations, right?
Mhm.
Um, and we have before 2025, we had about 175 uh, um, states recognizing the Palestinian state, right?
Mhm.
And recently, in 2025, we've had, like you mentioned, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Portugal, France, Belgium, Luxembourg, Honduras, Malta, Monaco, and San Marino. These are states that have recognized the state of Palestine just in the
Right.
recent months, right? I want to highlight a few of these states that I've mentioned: the United Kingdom,
Right.
Canada, Australia, France, and Belgium. These are staunch supporters of
Israel.
Israel.
mhm,
staunch supporters. So when you see a country like the like Canada, Australia, France come out to officially recognize and support the move to a Palestinian state, it
mhm,
should tell you, whoever is watching or listening, it should tell you a lot about what is going on, especially in the Gaza area,
mhm,
where Israel has, demonstrated a lack of, uh, has demonstrated that they could do and undo and do whatever they want in Gaza with impunity.
mhm,
And because, of course, this recognition it's symbolic. It's symbolic because, again, what else would they do? They've recognized a Palestinian state, but none of this, that nobody's making an effort to actually set up a Palestinian state. First of all, because the borders are porous. Israel is claiming part of Palestine. They've taken, seized part of Palestine and settled Jewish settlers there. They are now trying to I don't know what to call it, exterminate, extinguish, put out every Palestinian in Gaza, so they can resettle with Jewish speaking Jewish nationals. So there's a lot that has gone on, but I think for the Palestinian people, this recognition is something in the right direction. And
mhm,
most of them have recognized and are pushing for a two-state, which is a conversation that we can have, whether there is viable to even have a two states at this time, or one state, whichever, or the complete elimination of the Palestinian state, right? And absorbed by Israel. So these
mhm,
are things that we could definitely talk about. But my
mhm,
first impressions is like, I think it's quite symbolic. A lot still needs to be done. Um, United Kingdom is still providing and supplying Israel with weapons. They supply spare parts for their F-35s, which is what they use to go around and bomb the rest of the world, right? France, of
mhm,
course, still providing support, either
mhm,
investing, providing ammunition, or just
mhm,
providing diplomatic backup, which is something that, arguments which we would make as we have this conversation. I think they should match these words with action. You can't
right,
just recognize a state and do nothing. I think you should recognize the state, and you should go a little bit more than just
mhm,
recognizing. That would be my observation for now.
right, right.
In your opinion, what do you think is pushing this wave of recognition of the Palestinian state?
I think because Israel has conducted wars almost going to two years now, a
Right.
lot of people are becoming dissatisfied with the way Israel has conducted the war. They
Mhm.
feel like Israel has gone too far and completely or has destroyed more than what people would have put as the acceptable rate of destruction of Palestine in the pursuit of getting rid of Hamas. So Israel, in my opinion, is becoming increasingly isolated by the people who were once strong supporters. They feel like the war can be better conducted. Israel is claiming that the war it's carrying out the most ethical war there has been on planet Earth. On their part, they will claim they're sending flyers, they're warning people on where they're going to bump, they are telling people where to move. Like they'll say, you see, nobody does that to its enemies. If we wanted to kill these people, we would have done that on October 8th in 2023. But we have dragged this war up to this time because we are fighting a war that we're trying to reduce the casualties as keep it as minimal as possible, and to be very cognizant of the people who are suffering. That's Israel's argument. But you can, as you have clearly articulated, they are increasingly becoming isolated in the international scene. A lot of people are feeling like they have gone rogue and they're just carrying out a genocide. So that's where we are. Um,
It is clearly a genocide, Ghana.
mhm,
When you listen to senior Israeli diplomats and politicians,
right.
when they talk about Gaza, they are not. It's not now. It's not limited to eliminating Hamas. Now it's
Mhm,
limited to exterminating and pushing out the Palestinians who live in Gaza. They
mhm,
talk about, you know, forcing them out, or
Yeah.
buying them out or paying them out. So the intention of the war now is not even let's deal with Hamas. I mean, they have been fighting this war for 2 years
Hmm.
plus. Hamas is still there.
Right.
Yeah, right. Hamas is still there. So the whole idea of eliminating Hamas is something that
Hmm.
how do you even do that? Just like they talked about eliminating ISIS. One time Trump said with ISIS was done, but Islamic extremism wasn't done. You might have dealt with ISIS, but
Hmm.
the idea itself is still there. It's the same
Right.
thing with
Hmm.
Hamas. You might kill all their leaders, but the idea doesn't die with the leaders.
Right.
So the fight for a Palestinian state would continue to be something that Israel would have to deal with. They can
Right.
either accept it and make compromises to set up a Palestinian state, no matter how small it might be. That is
Hmm.
the only way that Israel is going to have peace. You
Right.
can colonize them, you get to up because again, now is more an appetite state where you have, you take control of territory and then you subjugate whoever is under there. We talk about leaflets and flyers, yet you've killed 70,000 people plus.
Hmm.
Russia has been fighting with Ukraine for 3 years plus. Only 13,000 civilians dead on both sides. Israel has killed 70 plus thousand Palestinian civilians in the Gaza area,
Hmm.
73,000.
Right.
What
Well, I
kind of
mean,
war are they conducting? How
yeah.
holy?
Well.
What kind of argument are they making? Again, they make this argument and there's no pushback because when
Mhm.
you elaborated the argument,
Well,
I
there is a pushback.
you
There are countries.
mention or contradict the statement in any way or
Right.
compare it with other wars that are current.
Well, wait, but there is pushback. You just
Who
listed
is
countries
pushing
that have
back?
recognized. You just listed countries that have recognized the Palestinian state. Isn't
That's
that pushback?
not
Isn't
pushback.
that pushback? And by the way, yeah, there is people that the numbers are exorbitant, and every death is sad and it's tragic. And my conundrum here is how do you stop it? Well, Israel's condition is that you should release all the hostages. Hamas' condition is that you should get out of here. Who's going to win? Okay. Israel that say if you release all the hostages, we're going to go out. Hamas say you get out. Like you can't have both. There has to be some compromise at some level. Okay, you see until and that is a serious issue that we have to talk about. It's not as if Hamas is just there, peaceful, loving people who are just have released all the hostages and Israel is still there.
Why would they release the hostages? Why?
Okay, why not?
That's leverage. That's
Okay,
leverage. You
okay,
come into my house.
yeah.
I mean,
So so
Israel
so
has been
so fair point. They don't
right.
want to release it. And Israel says, if you don't release the hostages, we're going to get every one of you. We don't care the collateral damage. So why are you arguing with the number of people who are being killed? It's very sad, but it's really stated there. They have stated that until you release the hostages, we are not going to stop until we get one of all of those who were captured.
Right.
So that
And
is their condition.
again, you see, sometimes when you said again, I know for a fact that the goals that were set by Benjamin Netanyahu were not
Mhm.
necessarily in the best interest of the captives. It is in his
Right.
best interest. Remember, before the October 7 affair,
Mhm.
there had been serious public outcry and a push to kick Benjamin Netanyahu out of government.
Yeah.
Just before then, some Israeli politicians would term that period see that there was a civil conflict, a civil war that was going on in Israel, and then October 7 happened. Netanyahu is the fight of his political life. He is facing trials for crimes committed while in office.
Mhm.
There's no incentive for him to compromise, because the compromise would have been okay. You release this number. Again, this is me just being as simplistic as you could be. Again, it's an agreement. Always you and you could break down this agreement into different steps. You do this, I do this, you do this. But again, Israel has demonstrated that they cannot be trusted. They cannot be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen cases where they've attacked Iran and eliminated some nuclear scientists, people
Mm-hmm.
who gathered to review a proposal that the United States had made. And once they figure out that these people were gathered, the senior Iran officials were gathered to review, they attacked and they killed a good number of them. They did the same thing in Qatar. Qatar
Mm-hmm.
is hosting
Hamas will.
Palestinian leaders, Hamas leaders, to review a ceasefire proposal provided to them by the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And while they are doing that, what is happening? Israel is bombing.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately for them, I believe that the information got leaked and these leaders left the location or were not where they were supposed to be. So when Israel attacked, I mean, Qatar is probably
Yeah.
one of the most peaceful Arab states that you could think about. A
Yeah.
friend to the United States, and have been working very openly with Israel,
Yeah.
right? So when they start
Yeah.
doing things, how do you trust? And this is not the first time where Israel has attacked Hamas leaders who have gathered to consider a proposal,
Mm-hmm.
who were holding a meeting to review terms and conditions for a ceasefire. Not the first time.
Right. Yeah.
So how do you expect these
I
Hamas
mean,
leaders to trust?
those are very good points, and this Qatar was claiming about its sovereignty. Israel clearly
Violated that?
disrespecting, violating Qatar's sovereignty. But Israel too has gotten pushed back from that. It's not like you sounded like it's just getting free pass. I mean, people have recognized the
They are
Palestinian
getting a
state.
free pass. And again, unfortunately, there is a war going on. Russia
Mhm.
and
Ukraine.
Ukraine are
Mhm.
fighting. How many sanctions has Russia got? So when we talk about pushback, let's do a comparative analysis
Mhm.
on the pushback that Russia gets and the pushback that Israel gets. It's nowhere it's
No,
incomparable. You cannot compare.
I mean
So
it's
when you
still
talk
one.
about pushback, I draw you to an ongoing war,
Yeah,
and then
non-way
we
war.
see the
Right.
pushback that Russia is getting, right? So it's double
Well, but
standard.
I mean,
It is double
we
standard.
this it is, and to some degree, you're true. But these things are not. You're comparing apples and oranges here. The circumstances are different qualitatively. It is very different. Okay, Hamas went in on October 7, killed people, then ran back with hostages. That's qualitatively different from Putin going to annex a country because he feels that it's his. Okay, the
No,
whole of Europe is
that is misinformation, Ghana. He doesn't
what's
feel that is ease. That is what people say. Russia has
okay.
never declared that Ukraine is theirs, so they are just
No,
going to
but
attack.
no, but the territory they were finding, the Donbass and the Donetsk region, they feel like that's supposed to be. It's historically been Russian. It started with Crimea. That Russia has always claimed Crimea. They think the people who live in Crimea are ethnically Russian. They're very close to us. We are supposed to be in charge of this region. Ukraine denies and said
No,
that's
no,
part
no,
of the
no. That
Ukrainian
again,
territory.
that is misinformation. If you go back to
Okay.
2014, that is where the issue started. 2014. Go back and review the Minsk Accord. It's not something that it didn't start in 2022. It started in
Right.
2014, and the reason
That's
why
just what I
Russia
said
went,
about Crimea. That's just what I said
yes,
about Crimea.
yes, but you did you explain why Russia went in?
Well, Russia doesn't want Ukraine to join NATO, and Ukraine clearly is advancing. NATO is advancing, has advanced all the border territories of Ukraine. So Russia feels threatened and wants to claim back territory that it claims to be his in Ukraine territory. The main thing is NATO pushing into Ukraine that had been agreed with Russia not to ever happen.
Fine, but
So
you mean
Ukraine,
you I don't
no,
know if you intentionally left out that part. That was a conversation that had to follow, but you seem to have intentionally left out the piece where
I don't know
they
about
make it clear.
intentionally.
I
Well,
don't know.
I don't know where your mind is going, but I did not necessarily. But I was still, well,
Sorry,
I
go
don't think
ahead.
we're trying to go granular on that point there. But
Sorry, go ahead.
anyways, yeah, the there are two wars that are going on. The qualitatively they are different. Okay, this is it's not like um um Hamas was just there, la la la, and everybody was peaceful. They literally went and started this thing. They went and poked the bear and ran in with hostages. That's the context of the Israel war. The context of the Ukraine war is as tragic as it
Do
is
you
different.
admit would you admit that Israel has had um controls the Palestine, controls their borders, controls
They
the
do, yeah.
airspace? So what is that when you
But
are subjugated by another power? What is
mm,
that? You don't have a right to defend yourself. You don't have a right to attack them. They have a right to come in and subjugate you and kill you whenever they want, but you
okay,
don't
okay,
have a
okay.
right to do anything.
Fair
Is that the
point.
argument you're making?
No, that's not.
Because
I want to make.
when you talk about October
I want to
7th,
make sure. I want to make
October
sure I'm
7th is
understanding.
not the start of this conflict too.
Right. Okay. But okay, let me make sure I'm understanding you clearly. So you are saying Hamas was justified to go in and kill 1,200 people in Israel because of all of the occupation and pressure they've had for the past 70 or 100 years?
How many Palestinians have
No, no,
Israel?
we have to start from that
No,
point because
we are
you sounded
moving.
as
No,
if that,
before we get to October 7th,
right.
we can't just start there. You can't just you can't just start
Okay, yeah.
October 7th.
That's
How
why I
many
said from all
Palestinians had
from
Israel killed before October 7th?
many, lots of us.
Thousands,
Yeah, yeah, thousands.
thousands.
Yeah.
So Hamas has
Israelis,
no right.
but you also realize Israelis who have died have been killed by Palestinians too.
And then, so what's the argument now?
Wait, because
You've
no,
killed a good number of us. We've killed a good number of you. I've come back
right.
and killed 1,200 of you, and
Hmm.
you're upset.
Okay, but your point is, and I want to make sure I understand you clearly, that Hamas was justified to go in and kill these 1,200 people on October 7th because
I'm
of
not saying
all
that
the
they were
oppression.
justified. I can't
Oh,
justify I cannot cannot
okay.
justify Hamas action, just like you cannot justify the actions of the state of Israel.
Hmm.
But I can tell you what the Palestinians are saying, and that is
Right,
what the Palestinians are saying. This is a battle that has gone back and forth.
right.
So because Hamas gave Israel a bloody nose, does not mean that Israel should act with impunity.
Hmm.
There has to be some proportionality on their reaction. There has to
Okay.
be. 1,000 people killing 70,000 people. I mean, how do you balance that?
Okay. But that's a good question. You're making a war to sound as if it's a bargain in the market where you give me 1,000 francs and I give you and I change it and I give you 100 francs. That is not war. War doesn't work like that. War is not a surgical operation. You cannot go and poke a bear and then expect the bear to come and sit and poke you back. It doesn't happen that way. It didn't happen with the United States when they were struck by Al Qaeda and 3,000 people died. How many people died in Afghanistan and Pakistan?
Is it
It doesn't
correct?
work that way.
No,
Look,
I'm not. See, we are. My point is, I am condemning
right,
the extent to which they have gone and the
right.
approach to which they've taken
True,
to
fair. That's fair
execute.
point.
You can't starve children to death.
Yeah,
You can't kill people who are coming to get aid.
yeah,
I mean, women and children. These are not Hamas. You
oh,
can't
yeah.
turn around and senior leaders, senior uh, members of the state of Israel. They are
Hmm.
saying that there is no innocent Palestinian. Every Palestinian is Hamas. Children, if we don't kill them now, they are going to grow up and join Hamas. And
Hmm.
women, if we don't kill them now, they are going to have children. These are things that politicians in Israel are saying in the
Right,
open.
right.
They are not hiding it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't, how do you when people speak like that, their intentions are clearly in what they say. They don't
Hmm.
it's not
Right.
we are not fighting Hamas, they are fighting the
Palestinian.
Palestinians.
Well,
That's it.
that's a fair point. And Israel, like other countries, have radical people who have radical ideas who really want to just destroy everyone Palestine. That's sad. That those are radical people. Like
They are
anywhere.
members of, I mean, that the a majority of Netanyahu's government are
No, I'm sure
extremists,
there
doing
are a lot of
extremists.
radical people in there are a lot
Exactly.
of radical people
Exactly.
in Netanyahu's government. That there's no line about that. But to say that there are not also radical people in Hamas is they are the people who just want to destroy all the Israelis. If the only problem is they do not have the capacity to do that. If they had the capacity to do that, we'll be talking about a different story here. So the problem is not the shortage of radical, it's just the lack of capacity. Okay. And you can even tell with the number of people who were celebrating, okay, on the day that the people were captured. It shows that there are a lot of people, they just lack the capacity. So this position they're holding can easily be on the other foot. They just don't have the weaponry and the sophistication to be able to carry out such an attack. Had Hamas had the sophistication that Israel had, the military might, Israel would have been gone. Would you agree?
We don't have any evidence for that,
We-
Ghana. Now we
That's
are
why it's a hypothesis.
we are speculating. We are
Right,
what's the word? We
right.
are making
Hypothesizing.
hypothesizing, right? I mean, I can't give you an answer to that hypothesis,
Right.
right? I see
Fair
where you're
point.
going. I see where you're going with it, right?
Right.
But it would be unfair to me to attempt to affirm
Right.
your
Yeah.
comment, right? It makes
Is what
sense.
about? Yeah.
It makes sense. But again, I mean, I feel a type of
No,
way to kind of agree with you,
and
right?
which is fair, and I agree with you. I've been one to have, certainly been very uncomfortable with the amount of destruction that's happening in Gaza and the killing. You cannot have a heart and you're able to see that and be comfortable. It is sad. It's
Mhm.
really, really sad. Okay. But if people say the condition is for you to release all the hostages so that this war can end, and you say no, yes, the onus on the people to be very careful to get those who are really involved in causing trouble to Israel. But then you can also say you don't bear any responsibility while you are still keeping hostages. Okay, you bear some responsibility. I mean, just look at the people who have recognized Palestinian state. They are clearly say they don't want anything to do with Hamas. Like, what does that tell you about Hamas? Hamas is still holding hostage. France, Australia, Belgium, whatever. The point is, Hamas can have no future. Now, how is that going to play out? I don't even know. Because, like you clearly said at the beginning of the thing, it is symbolic. Is it going to translate to lasting result? How are
No,
they going to ensure that the people of Palestine get rid of Hamas? Israel has not been able to get it. So how will these people, just recognizing a state, get rid of Hamas? I think that's a question that you have to ask them. Okay,
it is a
is this
question
just
that they is a question that they can't answer. It's a question that is quite complicated. I know um there's evidence that Hamas was more a creation or an instigation of Israel.
yeah.
Because again, when the PLO with this their famous leader,
Mahmoud Abbas? Mahmoud
no, not
Abbas.
Mahmoud, the guy before Mahmoud Abbas, the guy who was
Uh,
poisoned, Yasser
uh,
Arafat,
oh yes,
was
Afat. Yeah.
making a lot of progress, and there were possibilities that they would agree on a deal to have a two-state solution. What did Israel
Yeah.
do? They're doing exactly what they're doing now. What they are
Mhm.
doing now is they've gone into, again, like every community, we have different
Mhm.
factions with different ideas. There are some that are more they are more nationalistic than others.
Right.
There are some who are a little bit more radical than others. So
Yeah.
what Israel did was they encouraged and egged on Hamas,
Hmm.
and they financed Hamas so that they have a faction that said we don't want a state of Israel around us. That is what
Hmm.
Hamas. That was what Hamas was saying.
Hmm.
While Yasser Arafat with PLO were saying we would do a two-state. So what do? You support and finance Hamas so that there's no agreement. Now,
Hmm.
Hamas is doing what Hamas is doing. Israel is financing and sponsoring and providing weapons to other small Palestinian groups to do what? To fight Hamas.
Mm.
Eventually, Hamas goes away. What do you
Okay.
do
What?
with
Oh,
all
yeah.
these? What do you do with all these small groups? Again,
Right.
take Al Qaeda. When America wanted to fight the Soviets in Afghanistan, what did they do? They went to Pakistan and they created this Islamic groups. They came into Afghanistan, they fought and drove away the Soviets. When the
Mm.
Soviets left, these groups had weapons, they had money, they had influence, they had connections. What did they do? They turned around and started fighting the United States. It is exactly what is going on here. You
Well,
feel it.
yeah, I didn't know. You just said a lot of things. I don't know if you can prove them because this is just somebody saying something.
It's not somebody saying.
It can be labeled as conspiracy theory. Because can you substantiate what you just said?
I
Because
can. I
can
can, I
you?
can, I can, I can. Yeah, I definitely can. You're
Okay.
talking about the creation of Hamas and where
Right.
Hamas came. Yes,
Mm.
no, yeah, of course.
Okay. Okay. I don't know that. If you can substantiate that, that'll be good. Anyways,
But
moving forward,
you know the story about Pakistan, right? And
Pakistan, and
Afghanistan
I
and
haven't
Al
read much
Qaeda.
on
You
that.
know where Al Qaeda originated from. You know
No,
how
not
Al
really.
Qaeda came to be. When Hillary Clinton sat in an
Mm.
interview and said, "We created Hamas and Al Qaeda," and explain ISIS and explain
Mm.
how it
Oh, ISIS.
metamorphosed from
Al
them
Qaeda
fighting
to
the
ISIS.
Soviets and how it got to ISIS.
Yeah.
Have you watched
No,
that interview?
I haven't. No,
Okay.
no. Yeah, I have not. I would like to watch it and see. Okay. Um. So moving along. Why you?
Yeah.
I thought you're trying to find stuff. Okay. So I kind of hinted at this already.
Mhm.
How do you think these countries, with the recognition of the Palestinian state, how is that going to affect the people on the ground? And to a larger extent, how is that going to affect the war? I know we kind of talked about this a little bit. Um, you're still showing some skepticism. You've said a few times that it's symbolic. I don't know if you feel like it's going to have an impact on the ground.
No, no, it's not going to change anything. It's
Mm,
not going to change anything. Even Benjamin Netanyahu had has made a mockery of their recognition, and he
mm,
made it very clear that you can recognize all you want. There is never
mm,
going to be a Palestinian state. That is
mm,
words coming out of the mouth of the
mm.
Israel of the
The Prime
of
Minister of Israel.
Prime Minister of Israel. It tells
Mm,
you that nothing is happening, and the only reason why Israel could do what it does is because they have the backing of the United States.
yeah.
They've always had the backing of the United States. Every resolution that has come to the General Assembly or to the Security United Nations Security Council has been vetoed by the United States. Even the last one from a couple of
Yeah, a few
days
days
back,
ago. Yeah.
a couple of days ago, they only veto like she put her hand, she was ashamed of doing that, but again, it's policy. That there's always the United States. So Israel knows, they know that they could do whatever it is they want for reasons
Mm,
that I cannot understand.
hmm.
That a state of Israel, I don't know if they are manipulating the United States or if the United
A
so
lot of people feel that.
the
Yeah.
relationship between these two, like a state of 8 million people seem to be managing and controlling a state of 35 to 400 million people. I
Mm,
don't get it. I
hmm.
do not get it. So it's not going to change. This again, like I said earlier, it's symbolic, yes, and good all the same because it tells the rest of the world
Hmm.
that Israel is doing something seriously wrong.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, we also have countries joining the case against Israel with the ICJ.
Hmm.
Again, that symbolic, but it tells you where people are at this point, right?
Right.
But Canada needs to, and again, another thing too I should mention is that these leaders are making these declarations because of the pressure that they are feeling from the people.
Right.
People, there are riots and marches in France every day in favor of of the Palestinian people.
Yeah.
Happening in Canada, it's happening in the United States, it's happening in the United Kingdom, it's happening in Belgium, it's happening everywhere. So
Hmm.
it's not out of a sense of morality or goodwill on the part of these leaders. It is because they need to appease. They need. I mean, Macron is sitting there. He's almost out of office. His prime minister got a vote on non-confidence 2 weeks. He doesn't have a prime minister. He doesn't have a budget, and he is looking for a way to soften the pressure that he's facing. So what does he? He goes ahead and he says we are recognizing the state of Palestine.
Right.
Um, United Kingdom, same thing.
You just express optimism.
There's no
After you
optimism,
said
my man. There's no optimism in
after you
what
said it was
what you
symbolic,
have said.
so you're not even on board with the symbolism of this thing at all.
To
It's
what
like,
end?
do you even want
We are struggling to answer the same question. To what end? How does it benefit the people of Gaza? How does it benefit the people of
okay,
Palestine? I don't
fair
see.
point. I'm having a hard time trying to pinpoint where you actually stand, because you are against the war, and you think the Gazans are being treated unfairly. And then a few countries will come out and say, we no longer support Israel. We now recognize the Palestinian state. And you're not optimistic about that. And you seem to say it is due to political pressure
It is.
from back home, which I totally agree with you.
It
Like,
is.
these people are not actually very genuine in what they say, because
No,
they know that by recognizing the Palestinian state, they are rewarding Hamas. And you have already designated Hamas as a terrorist group. In all of these countries, Hamas is a non-terrorist group. And
right.
then you go ahead and you recognize them. What do you
They
think Hamas is
recognize the
feeling
state
right
of
now?
Palestine. The deal is not they are not
Who is
recognizing
which is
Hamas.
being led by who? It's led
No,
by Hamas at the
no.
moment.
Gaza. In Gaza, Hamas leads Gaza, but
Right.
the West Bank and the other parts of it's your friend. You just called his name. He is
Mahmoud
the
Abbas
Mahmoud
of
Abbas
PLO.
is he is a recognized head of
And
Palestine.
by the way, he cannot even pass into Gaza because
Why
Hamas
would he
is going
pass
to
into
kill
Gaza?
him.
He too,
Because Hamas,
he
because
too is
Hamas
not
is going to.
separate. He too is a he too. I mean, he's been in office for how long?
What? He hasn't even held
Guy,
an election.
this guy has been in office for how long? No
He hasn't even
election.
held
He's not even
21
won an
years.
election. 21
21
years.
years. So you see why I'm so confused about your position, because um, when you're talking about the recognition of the Palestinian state, what map are we talking about? Are we talking about the West Bank, part of the Jerusalem and Gaza together, or
Right.
just the West Bank where Mahmoud Abbas is controlling, or the entire
No,
the,
whatever is left of Palestine, whatever is left, they push the Gaza Strip, West
mhm,
Bank, and all that
the
is
part of
Palestine.
Jerusalem?
That is Palestine, yes.
But Mahmoud Abbas cannot even pass in Gaza because he is going to be gunned down first by Hamas.
But it doesn't mean that he's not the head, he's not the recognized leader of Palestine. When he goes out
He's
on behalf
not.
of the Palestinian state,
Well, but the people who are recognizing the Palestinian state, I don't know if they're including Gaza in this state. It's Gaza
Gaza is
because,
part of Palestine.
Ga-
Gaza is not a separate country entity on its own, right?
yeah, but
Gaza is
Mahmoud Abbas is not the leader of Gaza.
Mahmoud
He is
Abbas is a head of. They don't. I mean, people. Mahmoud Abbas is the head of Palestine, right? He is.
of what Palestine? Like, it depends on how you draw the map of Palestine. Of what? Of West Bank and Jerusalem, or West Bank, Jerusalem and Gaza? Because some people in Gaza don't even want. Even Hamas is going to kill Mahmoud if he passes there, if he
Yeah,
steps through there.
maybe they should.
So,
They need
so
a
when these people are recognizing, they come and we recognize the Palestinian. I think a good question to start is, what is the map of the Palestinian state you're talking about? Because so that's why I think it's fair to say that Hamas
there's
is
no
celebrating, because this is a reward of what they really want. And okay, because Hamas has clearly stated that their goal is to eliminate Israel. That's it. Mahmoud Abbas maybe is more liberal, not on that level yet, or is more. It's easy to compromise. But if your recognition of the Palestinian state includes Gaza, you somehow have to figure out how to make Mahmoud Abbas and Hamas work together. First of all, they are two arch enemies that don't want to catch each other. Okay, Hamas first of all killed the moderates that were in Gaza, and came to power. They too haven't had the elections. Mahmoud Abbas cannot even
No,
claim who is it.
Hamas came into power through an election that was run by the international community.
Right. Well, but there was some more people
They
there.
did
I
not
think.
like the results.
Yeah.
They were hoping that
Yeah.
another party would win. So when Hamas won, because again Hamas was initially a militia military,
A
and then they
military
said, "Oh yeah,
which.
we own." So they formed a political party,
Right.
just like Hezbollah. They have a political wing and a military wing.
A
It's
military
not,
wing.
and it's not.
Yeah.
So they formed a political party, ran for elections, and won.
Right.
It tells you the state of mind of the people at that time. Again, they haven't held any elections since then.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure even if they held an elections, they'll probably still win.
Hamas will probably still win. So now you're coming down to one of the conundrums that I am facing. These people are recognizing the state and say Hamas has no future in the state. I'm like, it's like the majority of Palestinians still support Hamas. Okay, and most of the Arab countries, they are using these Palestinian people as pawns. They are using them to die for a cause, which a major part of is a religious aspect of it. They want to get rid of the Jews because they believe that the Jews are infidels like the Christians. Okay, so that's why a lot of these Arab countries, they don't care how many Palestinians die because they are interested in ideologically pushing the idea that Jews, to start with,
I
and
mean,
then
which
Christians,
of
and
these
if
which of these Arab states are you talking about?
I
Maybe
mean
if you
Iran is clearly one of those.
yeah, one.
Yeah, I mean Jordan too is supporting the Palestinian
No,
state.
Jordan isn't.
Jordan and Saud.
Jordan isn't. Qatar isn't. Saudi Arabia isn't.
Right.
Right? So yes, because again, there's
Okay.
even with the
Why?
Muslim,
Okay.
even with the Muslim,
Why are they not?
because even with the Muslim religion, there are two groups: the Sunni and the Shia.
Mm-hmm.
Iran is Iran Sunni or Shia?
I
So
think Iran is. I don't know. Iran is Sunni. I don't know.
so let me find that out.
Yeah, because I think
I
Saudi
need to
Arabia is
know.
Shia.
Okay. Okay. So Iran is majority Shia, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people of Gaza affiliate and more affiliated with that. So
Right.
that's their own little arm of a connection. Even though they are all Muslims,
Mm-hmm.
their
Yeah.
religion, just like you have Pentecostals and Pentecostal,
Mm-hmm.
there's tension.
Mm-hmm.
Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the Jordan that you spoke about,
Mm-hmm.
United Arabs, all of these people are
Sunnis
Sunni Muslims. They don't agree.
don't get
Egypt,
along.
they don't
Egypt
get
is Sunni.
along. So
Right.
they are not in terms of I mean, there's this fraternity because they are Muslims, but in
Right.
terms of support in itself, they are not providing any material or
Mm-hmm.
financial support
Mm-hmm.
to Hamas at all.
Right.
Yes, Iran is doing it. Yes, of course, Iran. I mean, that's the connection. So
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about this, and again, that is why Qatar, Saudi Arabia, they've never come out to speak in favor of the Palestinian people. Never until
Right.
recently.
Mm-hmm.
Today, the emir of Qatar made a speech about what is going on in Palestine in the United Nations. But primarily because they got attacked by Israel. That is the only. They've come to the United Nations every year and never had a strong word against Israel.
The
Never.
Emir of
On
Qatar.
the emir of Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
Never. Until, is it today? Until today.
Right.
And the only reason they are doing that is because what? Israel bombed their capital. That is the only reason.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to support, they only get support from Iran,
Yeah.
not from these other states, because they have religiously speaking, they are different. They are Muslims, but different in terms of how they worship
Mm-hmm.
or who they feel is the Messiah, right?
Right.
So
The lineage.
there's a clear disparity there. So that's why when you talk about even when you go to the Arab League, another Shia country is Syria. And if you remember, they had come together, and they find with, of course, with the United States, and with they they supported, the moderate. You remember the moderate rebels
The
in
guy who
Syria?
was, yeah, he's the president now, who just had a 10 million bounty on his head a couple of
Thanks to
months ago.
who? Thanks to these Sunni Arab states. I
Right.
just wanted to put that out there. Anyway, sorry
No,
for
yeah,
interrupting.
fair point. No, no, fair point. Yeah, fair point. Anyways, but um, this, I mean, if I don't know if the riots in the UK, in Canada, and elsewhere in Europe, they are separating host non-Muslim. The majority of the
They
fact
don't
of the
even.
matter
Yeah, the
is,
difference is not very obvious.
the,
They don't
the,
really.
the fact of the matter is, most people, especially who are Muslim affiliated, whether Shia or Sunni, they are in favor of the Palestinian state, and most of them are chanting from the river to the sea. Okay,
But
which
just like I mean, again, balance. If you heard Israel talk about Greater Israel,
I'm not.
you haven't heard.
I'm not heard, honestly speaking.
But
And I've
why do you seem to be hearing information only
I don't
one-sided?
know. Maybe it's just the algorithm that I listen to. I've
Man,
not heard,
Netanyahu
but
says that every day. The Greater Israel plan,
the Greater
where
Israel
they have
plan. Okay.
portions of Syria that they believe is supposed to be part. I mean, all of Palestine, first of all, is gone. They have portions of Syria. They have portions in Lebanon. They have portions in Egypt. They have part of Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
They, Netanyahu comes out with a map, and he says the plan is Greater Israel. So it's
The
not
Greater
just
Israel.
stopping with
Okay.
Palestine. It's great. Once they're done with Gaza and the Palestinian people,
They're
they're
gonna go
they're
to the.
already they're already looking into Syria and
Yeah.
Lebanon, and so again, you can chart from the river to the sea. I mean, the Zionist state of Israel have their own slogan,
Mm-hmm.
which is the Greater Israel.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure the radicals and the radicals in Israel that will have their own slogan. But this river to the sea, I don't think it's sound by radicals. It's the normal slogan of any pro-Palestine rally. Is that a radical? No, most people sing that. The moderates sing that. The people who just think that Palestine has a radical, it's not meant for the radical. It's something that's common among moderate people,
Mhm.
moderate decent people. I mean,
Right.
and I'm sure there are radicals on the pro-Israel side, but I don't think they are moderate. And they are certainly not the majority. I would have heard of it. Anyways, we were there. Where she's like, um, you definitely don't think it's gonna have like real last name. So you think these
No,
people are just
I
playing a
think
game?
I don't think it's going to have any serious impact on the ground.
Right.
I think the blockade is going to continue. The
Mm-hmm.
siege on Palestine is going to continue. The siege on Gaza is going to continue, of course.
Mm-hmm.
The starvation is going to continue. The killing is going to systematic killing is going to continue. The systematic destruction
Right.
of Gaza is going to continue. I heard one
Mm-hmm.
Israeli politician, I forgot to write his name down. He
Yeah.
was saying that in a few soon they would have to start. Okay, the conversation was, what do we do with Gaza when it's done, right? And there was this conversation about, oh, people would come and help rebuild, but not
Mm-hmm.
rebuilding it for the Gazans, rebuilding it for. And then he was saying, but Israel has done most of all the work in terms of demolishing, which is usually the most important, the most expensive part of an urban, how do you call it,
Urban development,
urban development or something like that.
really.
So he is saying that Israel should have a percentage or a portion of the land when it comes to dividing. So I mean, when you hear that, is what somebody says,
Yeah.
that we we
Mm,
we, we are systematically demolishing Gaza for a future development. That is what they are doing.
yeah.
And again, if they talk about a holy war, there's nothing holy. There's nothing humane about the war that they are conducting.
Right. Yeah.
You might throw
Yeah.
leaflets all you want. You move them today, you move them to the north. 2 days after, you move them to the south. 2 days after, you move them back to the center. You keep moving people around like cattle.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
what is
It's sad.
humane?
It's
What is
sad.
humane about that? I don't
It's
know.
really sad. So why can't Hamas just release the hostages and this our end?
Why can't Israel just withdraw and go back home?
Well, because they have stated their goal is until all the hostages go
Hamas
back to
has their
Israel.
goal too.
Fine. So you agree with me that it's fair game. Well, given conditions, this person said, no, these are my conditions. Conditions are aligned. So the war continues. So why are you arguing about people not meeting conditions? And we know the clear consequences of that. The war is going to continue.
Israel has not been an honest.
So has Hamas. So has Hamas. Hamas has not been honest. They have said
Hamas,
people are still
Hamas,
alive.
Hamas. See, the thing is, each time Hamas agrees or shows an indication that they will agree to terms of a ceasefire,
Mhm.
the government of Israel inserts a clause that is more
Bombs them.
stringent, so that they
Mhm.
don't. The
Mhm.
moment there is movement towards an agreement for a ceasefire,
Mhm.
they kill the leader, either the
Mhm.
negotiator or one of the leaders. So each time there is a way forward for peace, Israel does something to
Yeah.
derail that. Recently, like, again, just like I said, they gathered these leaders went to Qatar
In
to
Qatar.
review a plan that Donald Trump had drafted. It was almost evident that they would agree to those conditions. What did Israel do? Attempted to kill them.
Yeah.
And then do you expect these men to turn around and still agree to that? No, they will not.
Yeah. No, no,
So
okay.
it's been a systematic move by Israel to derail any signs of an agreement for a ceasefire
Mhm.
or end of
Mhm.
the war.
Yeah.
So Israel is not an honest partner in this negotiation.
Right.
It is not.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. They have been deceptive in doing, but so has Hamas. Okay, to say Hamas has been straightforward and upfront with their demands, it's not true. They too have been very deceptive. They know the conditions of what Israel said, but they have refused to comply. Okay, so you cannot, if someone gives you a condition and you refuse to comply, and they say these are the consequences, you cannot blame them if you face the consequences of not complying to the demands that were asked of you.
Again, I mean, we claim that Hamas is a terrorist organization. Agree, they are
Right.
terrorists. So
Okay, and maybe another question for you. Um, how should Israel guarantee its security if Hamas is still there? Guarantee its
see,
security,
yeah. Sorry, finish before I.
guarantee its security, and more importantly, the security of the hostages if they were to withdraw their troops right now.
See, they've been hostage. There've been lots of I mean, since October 7th, there've been exchange of hostages.
Hmm.
Hamas has held their own end of the bargain each time. Yes, if they say we are releasing five, they have released five. Each time they agree on a number, Hamas has released exactly that number.
Hmm.
They might do their usual, the pump and show and parade the guys and demonstrate that they are still here, they are powerful. But at the end of the day, they meet their deadlines. We say five, we are releasing five. Israel would go and they would do the and so it's not new.
Israel release some Palestinians too,
Israel has released Palestinian prisoners as well, right?
lots of them.
So it's not like it's something that cannot be done.
Hmm.
Netanyahu is not willing to follow through because he knows that once the war ends and Israel and everybody settles, they are
Hmm.
going to look back, turn around and look at him and say, "Man, you want to tell us that you did not know that October
Yeah.
7 was going to happen?" The Egyptians are claiming that they won the government, right? Talk to people who have visited Israel. They will tell you
Hmm.
you don't go
Hmm.
100 meters without an IDF post.
Yeah.
There are cameras, they are surveilling. So
Hmm.
is hard to imagine
Right.
that for 6 hours, these guys were inside
Yeah.
and killing people without the government knowing
You
and
don't know.
taking
Yeah.
action. So they would have to turn around and ask Netanyahu what happened. You
Yeah.
need to tell us what happened. First of all, you're a criminal. Well, are you alleged to be a criminal? You
Yeah.
still have a court case happening. We were trying to kick you out of government when this thing happened. So when you connect the dots,
Looks fishy.
you might say that October 7th happened because Israel wanted it to happen.
Yeah, there's certainly people that believe
When you
that.
connect the dots, you might
Hmm.
easily arrive at at that conclusion, which go
Definitely.
which which I use to support the fact that Netanyahu is not willing to get a ceasefire or end this war because
Hmm.
they are going there is there definitely consequences once this war ends.
Yeah, fair.
In my opinion, that's how I see.
That's
He doesn't want this war to end. Why should it end?
yeah, yeah,
He keeps expanding. When things were getting a little slow and people were beginning to question, well, he attacked
yeah.
Iran.
Hmm.
He expanded the war. When things were
Iran.
getting close and now he attacked Qatar. He's expanding the war, right?
Yeah,
So he's fighting wars on too many fronts. Syria, he's fighting in Syria. He's dealing with the Yemenis, fighting the Houthis in
yeah,
Yemen. He's dealing with Iran. He's dealing with Qatar. He's dealing with Lebanon. He's dealing with Gaza. These are
yeah.
six different battles that this guy. I don't know how he does it, right?
And
Every
there's
day he
somehow
plans it.
but somehow he doesn't.
Somehow he does it.
And
I
then
mean,
Hamas knows to go and poke that bear.
does he have a choice? He doesn't have a choice. He too is a radical. He's an extremist. Netanyahu and his government is an extremist government. Zionist
They are
extremist.
certainly very extremist in his
No, they're not.
government. That
They are all extremists. He too is one. When you hear the things he says,
it says, yeah.
he's
Okay.
definitely an
So,
extremist.
yeah. I don't know. I think we've covered most of what we wanted to say. Mm.
Um, United States, man.
I was gonna say, another point I was gonna bring up. What does it say about the dignity of the people of Gaza? Okay, your the recognition of your state is dependent on someone's feeling about how another person is conducting a war in your country. Like, oh, okay, just okay. Let's put it in terms of the Bangla people. Who have you guys fought war with? Let's say you fought hypothetically, you have
Yeah,
fought war with the Basa people,
right.
okay? And then the Yaoundé people come and say, "Oh, the Bangla people, we are going to recognize you guys as a people with your own rights, with your own state, your own village, and your own chief and whatever, because this guy has been killing all of you. Before you were not a state. Before we did not recognize you, but because this guy is doing this to you, now you're a state." That just shows me that these people are not serious. They don't take this party. They're just using them as pawns, political pawns, to make a
Right.
point.
Right.
Because at the beginning, you had no intentions of recognizing these people to start with. You're
Right.
only doing this because the Basa people have been whooping these people out and killed lots of them. Okay, it's the same scenario. All these people are just coming out to say, "Oh, now suddenly now you're a state and we can recognize you." 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 years ago,
You
5,
were
10,
not.
50 years ago, you were not a state. What changed?
We will not even
Okay.
consider.
We'll not even consider it. But suddenly, because the way this guy is treating you, now you're a state. What does it say about the dignity of the people gathered?
I
It
mean,
just shows that for me, they are props that are being used, political pawns,
right.
and the people don't care. The politicians don't really care how many
They
Gazans
don't.
there are, as long as they're making their statements.
They
Okay,
don't care.
and the Arabs are in on this. You've already stated the number of
Exactly.
Arab states are there.
Right.
The West is in on this, and they don't care. And even some of the even Hamas, they don't even care as long as I'm also making their political points and taking the wins that they can take. They
Hmm.
don't really care the number of Palestinians who die. So I feel so sad for the Palestinian people because they are
Yeah.
being played like a ping pong ball by
Right.
everybody on all sides,
Right.
making them to be the ones who take the shock for a religious cause, for nationalistic or a race cause, or uh, some virtue signaling cause by the West. Everybody's just using them. Oh, today we'll recognize you. Oh, tomorrow, no, you're not. So what's going to happen now if Hamas refuses to get out? That was just my rant for the last few seconds.
I don't know. And yeah, of course, you're right. And again, that's why I said this they're doing it for political reasons, not out of a sense of people's a need for independence or recognition as a people. I mean, Macron has been in office for too long. He could have
Yeah,
recognized Palestine a long time ago. Um, McCartney could have recognized Palestine as soon as he got into office. He didn't need to wait.
did not.
He didn't need to wait, right? So all these people are being reactive as opposed to
Well,
being proactive. It's a lot of reaction. It's a reactionary based
yeah,
on how many people, based on how Israel has uh,
has conducted a war. So because either you're a
based,
state or you're not. It's
yeah,
as simple as that.
yeah.
So you can't come and say, oh, because the way Israel's treating them, now they become
But
a
again,
state. I'm sorry.
the thing too is I recognize you as a state. Am I going to allow you to set up a consular office in my country? Am I going to allow you to send a
Right.
diplomat?
Hmm.
Am I going to set up a consular office in your country? So because
Yeah.
again, these are the steps that would have to follow, right?
Right.
These are the steps that will have to follow. I
Who's
know a
your
lot of
leader? What is your
Palestinians,
currency? What is your parliament? What is going to happen? What is your border? What are the borders of your country?
right,
Okay.
right, right.
Like you just create a state in thin air because of
Mm,
political. It doesn't happen like that.
doesn't
Okay.
happen.
So this
I
yeah. I
I know we've talked. We've had this conversation without videos. I had a couple of videos which I wanted to use to guide,
yeah.
but I just want us to listen to Macron, right? Again, talking about the two-state solution, but not saying clearly. Again, just we talk about borders and boundaries. Can anybody really say where Palestine starts and ends?
No.
Is there a clear border? Because you can say the borders from a certain date. What was the date that they typically use? 1960s,
1947.
1947
No.
border, right? But this is not 1947. Israel has settled in a large part of this
Yeah.
territory. So are
Hmm.
you going to expel the Jewish settlers? Are you going
Yeah.
to buy them out? So it's very complicated. Now, if you talk about a one-state solution, Israel is saying there's never going to be a state of Israel along with Arabs in it. Initially, now
They
they have
have.
initially now they have Jewish and they have Israeli Arabs.
Well, okay. Well, there are 2 million Israeli Palestinians living
Palestine,
in Israel.
right,
Or Israel, Arab Israelis,
right,
Palestinians in
right.
short. There are 2 millions, and they have the same rights like all
They no,
Israelis.
they don't. Do they?
They
They don't.
don't. They
Do
do.
do they
You
vote?
can check that. They
They
vote.
vote.
They are in the
They have
parliament.
members of parliament.
They are.
They have
They are
equal
just.
rights like everyone
They
else.
have absolutely. They serve in the IDF. They are captains in the IDF.
Okay.
The 2 million Jews.
So why
They
not
are.
just incorporate the rest of the Arabs and make one big state?
Well, because like we just said, the Gazans have been used like pawns for politicians in Europe, by the Arab world, by people in Israel too, by the Muslims too in general. They are just there to fight mostly a religious war and an ideological war. Okay, the Palestinians who are in Israel, they go to universities like area, they live in Tel Aviv, they serve in the IDF. Many of them have died in the IDF in Gaza. You can check that out.
Hmm?
Okay, on a daily basis, Palestinians were leaving Gaza to work in Israel. I mean, Gazans were leaving Gaza to
To work
work
in
in
Israel?
Israel
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on a
Of course.
daily basis. They
Right.
had to go through all the security because you can't say Israel. Oh, Israel as a nation doesn't owe Gazans anything because they had quit. They had left
I mean,
Gaza in 2005.
they do to a certain extent.
The-
If you blockade the people, you have to. And again, it's appeasement because they know
right.
that if you don't let them come here and work, when they sit there, what do you think
But,
they're
but
thinking about? So they do. They owe the Palestinian
they
people a
don't.
lot. They control
Why?
the border.
Why?
No, they control the borders. They collect their taxes.
They control. Well, but they control their border.
No,
The
they
Israel
control.
controls who get.
No, Israel controls the borders of Palestine. The
Right.
passage from Egypt to it's managed and controlled by Israel.
But during this war, but
Yes,
before that,
no,
well, no, but
no, no,
before
the
the
entire
war,
time. No, they have always been. It's always they collect taxes on behalf
mhm, on the
of
PLO, on behalf of the PLO.
you think PLO can't collect their taxes by themselves?
Well, because they don't have the sophistication. They
No,
don't even have.
because no. It's because when you want to subjugate the people, you can't give them any kind of financial independence.
No,
If you allow them,
because another point,
listen,
another point.
this in Ghana, this is what
Yeah,
happens. They
yeah,
collect the
yeah.
taxes and then
Mhm,
they decide how they want to disburse these taxes. They don't
mhm.
collect it and pass it on
Okay,
to
maybe
the
you can.
government. They collect the taxes, they collect the
Maybe
taxes
you can.
and the day you choose to do something that they don't like, they withhold these taxes.
Right.
The ports, they control the sea. They they they
The-
they have to they check everything that comes in, they check everything that goes out. They seize medications, they seize this, they see. So when you
mhm,
subjugate a people
right.
and then you give them the opportunity to cross over and work for a few hours and make a
Mhm.
little bit of money, you think
But
no,
you don't have
you
you
do
what
nothing.
yeah, but you don't have that. I mean, Israel doesn't have to do that.
They have
Okay,
to. They have to.
why?
Because
Why?
if you leave a group of people with nothing, Israel knows that is
You
how
mean
they are.
these people who are being controlled by Hamas who took money and were able to build kilometers of tunnels? These people, instead of building industries that can employ their own people, why do Gazans have to go to Egypt to find work when they have Hamas that has the money? But what do they do with the money? They are building
Where's
missiles.
the
They
money
are
from?
building kilometers. Where's the
When
money
you say
from?
they have the money, where do they get the money from, Gaza?
Because the world has donated billions of dollars to Gaza for
Really?
the
And
development of Gaza.
handed that money to Hamas.
Yes,
No,
yes, you can check that.
that's not true.
Well, no, but you can check it out.
That
You
is
can check
not
it out.
true, man. That is not
No,
true. They
but you
don't
can check
hand.
it out.
No. I deny that.
Okay, just Google. You can Google out how much has Hamas received from the world.
From who? Who's the world, Ghana? Who's the world?
From people in America, from people in Europe, from
You think
donations of major
people donate?
organizations.
You think people donate money to Hamas?
People did. They donated to the Palestinian people, but who's the leader? It's Hamas.
No, but Hamas is not collecting that money.
So
They don't.
okay, so how who was giving the money? How did the money get to the Palestinians?
How did which money get to the Palestinians?
The money that was collected. You can Google it. I'm sorry, my internet is not
They
working.
don't give it to Hamas. They give it to Abbas.
But how
Because
does it get
Abbas
to
is the head of the Palestinian state. That is who receives
he?
money.
Yeah, but he cannot even go to Gaza. The money that okay, the money that was meant to Gaza. How does it get to the Gazans?
I don't know.
How does it do?
I don't know.
It has to go to the people who are leading Gaza, which is Hamas.
So
Okay. Hamas. Okay,
they will
Hamas is not
declare
receiving.
Hamas a terrorist group, and then they will send Hamas money overtly. Because
Yeah.
even when I talk about money that
Okay.
Hamas
Okay.
gets, it's not
Yeah.
overt.
It's not very. Okay. How did Hamas beat tunnels?
How do they build tunnels? I don't know.
Yeah. No. How did they get the finances to build tunnels?
Maybe they don't pay for the labor. Maybe they just go ahead and do it.
What? You have
Yeah.
to buy cement. You have to buy cables. You have to buy sand. You have
Right.
to get people to work in those tunnels. You have to, more importantly, you have to provide air condition to keep that place cool. So
Yeah.
that has taken years and years of dedication.
Right.
It did not start overnight.
No,
This
it
has
didn't.
taken it has taken years of dedication, years of coordinated, concerted effort to be able to build those. Okay, those are
Mhm.
sophisticated infrastructure,
Right.
really sophisticated. Okay,
Mhm.
you don't build with your mouth. You build it with cash that was given to you. Okay,
Mm.
with engineers that know what they are doing, that
Right.
are able to escape surveillance for
Right.
years and upon years. Okay, those are sophisticated infrastructure. Build it into a hospital. It costs money. It costs billions of dollars. Where did that billion come from?
Somewhere. I'm not sure where, but it definitely comes from somewhere.
Okay, we're gonna find out in the next
Maybe,
episode.
yeah, clearly comes from Iran. I know Iran will do whatever it took to Hezbollah. You know,
Right.
Iran,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Lebanon,
Sure.
Hezbollah,
Sure.
and then
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hamas.
Yeah.
There's that chain. There's also
There's
the
that
chain
chance.
Iran, Iran, Yemen with the Houthis with the
Houthis.
yeah with
Mhm.
the Houthis there,
Right.
and then Gaza. There was also Syria. You
Mhm.
remember Syria is part of that
Yeah.
Shia connection, so
Right.
definitely got funding from
Yeah.
Syria again.
Yeah.
Several years back, when Syria was still a state and Assad was still there, I'm
Right.
sure the little money that he had, he kind of
Did.
he probably
Well,
gave
that's true.
a little bit to Syria. I think that's how they got money
No, but you can fact check me. Europe and America has contributed billions for the development of Gaza.
for the
Billions
development
and
of
billions upon
Palestine,
dollars.
and gave it to Abbas
Yeah, but billions have gone into Gaza for the
into
development of Gaza.
say Palestine, not Gaza.
Into
Well,
Gaza.
right, right, right,
Billions of dollars,
right.
okay, have gone into Gaza
Yeah.
for the development of the people and the
Mhm,
betterment of the people.
mhm.
What happened?
They use the money to for their security and protection as well.
Right, to be
Yeah,
honest, and be missiles. Okay,
yeah.
I think that's a good place to end. I'm sure we
Wait.
can. Yeah,
We can go on till, but
right.
I wanted us to this listen to
Okay, sure.
Macron again. Is one of that yeah. Let's
Yeah.
take a minute. Listen to this guy.
Yesterday, we adopted a credible plan to put an end to the war in Gaza, to preserve a two-state solution, Israel and Palestine, to allow the release of all hostages and to save so many lives. We've charted a course towards peace, which requires first and foremost that hostages still in Hamas's hands are released, that strikes on Gaza cease. 142 members of this assembly have signed that declaration. We've held out our hands to forge the path towards peace, immediate peace, release of hostages, ceasefire, stabilization of Gaza, the demilitarization and the dismantling of Hamas, and a reciprocal recognition of two states and a Palestinian state which is demilitarized, which recognizes Israel, an Israeli state which recognizes the state of Palestine, and all the states.
So it emphasizes the conversation we've had.
Right.
But again, without providing any tangible means of
Mhm.
achieving the goals that they have. Yeah, you
Mhm.
want Hamas to be gone. How are you planning to do that? Right?
Right. Right.
You want release of the hostages. What is Israel willing to compromise so that these people could come home? Right?
Mhm.
A lot of talk. Like just like we've said, a lot of talk, nothing to support,
Right.
no action to support it. And a lot of them, a lot, it's not just him. Most of these leaders have come out and they have the same message. We need to end the war. Palestinian state, two-state solution. Hamas needs to disarm. Hamas needs to be out of the picture. But again, there's no clear path to achieving these goals.
Yeah.
Which again is what we've been elaborating here the entire time. I just
Yeah.
kind of wanted to play that, just
Yeah.
kind
It
of
basically it sums up of what we've been saying. These people are just playing a political game.
Mhm,
They are really on the side of Israel. They have just been pressured by the people
right.
or the pressures in their homes.
Mhm.
And they just have to save face. That's all. Okay. And it's just like it's a lot of hypocrisy. It's a lot of using the people of Gaza as guinea pigs just for political expediency. They are not serious in what they're saying. Absolutely not.
Perfect. Well, I guess that is definitely a good place to end.
Yeah.
We've been going for about an hour
Yeah, more than
10
anticipated.
and
Yeah.
about 15 minutes. So again, of course, we want to thank viewers, those who have watched, those who have joined and watched, and those who would, of course, watch subsequently. If you enjoy the content, please like and share, because again, I understand that it kind of boosts the algorithm and a lot more
Yeah.
people can see it when it's being liked and shared by more people. So yeah, do that. We are definitely going to keep this conversation going. We have a lot
Absolutely.
happening in the world, and we will come up from time to time to share our views. Thank you guys very much again for watching, and we will definitely see you soon.
Thank you.